welcome back to Pieces of Miss Minnie. Thank you so much for joining us again. I have the pleasure of having a guest on who is a friend, but we really don't know each other. It's an Instagram friend, really.
I mean, that's basically, to be honest, that's all of the industry. Like, you're
Okay,
friends,
but,
but you're like, do I really know anyone?
Right. No, and that is completely true. And so we are Instagram friends. And
You
really
can be Instagram besties. You could know a friend on Instagram better than you know someone who lives next door
Well,
or
this is
someone
true.
you've hung out with
I mean,
5, 6 years, 10
I know
years.
you are an Aquarius, because
Yeah.
so am I, and that was something we understood.
You know what? And I don't think most of my friends know I'm an Aquarius. Like, if I go to my boys and I'm like, yo, what's my zodiac sign? They'll be like, it's gay. Like,
No,
you don't
your
have an
birthday is
exam.
February
Like, they
7th.
wouldn't have one. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
February 5th.
See,
I know that
that's a lot
because
of
we're both
information.
Aquarians.
Yeah.
And that is a very specific thing that only Aquarians understand.
I get it.
So only Aquarians laugh at
I love
Aquarian memes.
I love that. See, my friend is just toxic masculinity, so we don't have.
Yeah.
Like, I love how attentive you are. That's
No,
so
I know when
wonderful.
your birthday is, because I
Yeah.
know you are like,
That's
you know,
what's
very
up.
few of us. And it's really important.
It
'cause,
is the
you know, we are in the age
shortest
of
month.
Aquarius.
It's the shortest month
Yeah,
of the year.
but
so,
and it's like
statistically.
now a lot of us who I think I think Aquarians are very misunderstood.
You know, I don't know enough about zodiac signs to have a conversation about
waste. All right,
zodiac signs.
skipping
No,
this.
because when people have zodiac sign conversations, especially when I have them with girls will be like, oh my God, he's a Capricorn. He's so selfish. And I'm like, Jesus was selfish. Jesus was a Capricorn. Like, I don't
No, but
know.
I do have
don't know
rules.
what's right or not anymore.
I have a no Gemini, no Leo, no Scorpio,
See?
no Australians.
See what I mean?
That's what your rules
okay.
are my
Well,
rules.
okay. That seems very specific.
No,
I'm gonna be very honest.
I
That
have
sounds
never been
very
wrong.
specific.
I swear to God.
You wouldn't know because you just said no to all of them.
No,
Those are like
I
entire
have said
months.
yes too many times, and I know too many of those men. No, I
know
have
what?
done the research.
I will never discredit woman's intuition, even though there's way too many women with baby daddies for that to be true. But fine, like there's
I
way
don't
too
have
many
one. I don't
women
have
with
kids.
like 2 or 3 baby daddies. Like, is your intuition really working? Because this wouldn't have happened.
This is true.
2 or 3
This
times.
is true.
Yeah.
But
So
I mean,
I don't know.
This has
I
a lot
just
to do
don't
with
know.
like bad programming
Exactly.
and the patriarchy and misogyny. That
Sure.
has a lot
I just
to
know
do.
I don't know. That's my thing. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So moving on from zodiacs,
Yeah.
because clearly,
I don't know. What's an Aquarius?
you post a lot of Aquarian
That's
memes
because
for you to not know
people
about
send them to me.
zodiacs.
If you notice, they're reposts. Like people go, "This is you," and "This is you," and I just reshare their share.
Oh, you don't follow?
I'm not the zodiac follower. That's not.
All right.
That's not my thing.
Oh man, you know they tell you don't meet your heroes.
Yeah, no, this is
like-
this is just the
that
thing.
was
I just don't know
such a
because
downer.
I no
That was-
because I take it upon myself to meet people on an individual,
You don't even know.
humanistic.
You don't even know
basis.
about Aquarians, and I know your birthday.
Yeah. What are Aquarians supposed to be?
They're weird. They're creative. They're humanitarians. They're intellectual. They're outsiders. They're often the black sheep. They're ahead of their time. You know, people catch up eventually.
Love it.
They are
Hey,
about
what about that would I not
revolution and
repost? Whenever they
evolution.
send that, why would I not repost that?
But we are disruptors.
Okay,
we're
that's
not.
what we
don't
are. I
fit
disrupt.
in. We don't look like everyone else. We don't act like everybody else. Like we're highly misunderstood. But like we're
It's what
ahead
I do
of the
for a
time.
profession. It's literally what I do for a profession. I disrupt. I am a disruptor.
See?
I'm a
So
professional disruptor.
You're fulfilling your.
That's what
And
it
we're
is.
in the age of Aquarius now, so it's really going to go
But
your
now,
way.
do you not see the value of me not knowing about zodiac signs? Because I'm
No.
all those things
No, I don't.
without hear
No,
hear me
less
out.
information is
Here-
not better.
Hold on. I'm all those things without reading about it. So now you realize it's not a self-fulfilling prophecy, it's just a prophecy. I'm proving it correct. Because
no, I
if I
like
had
that.
read all the things and then acted that
Yeah,
way, you
yeah,
could be
yeah.
like, well, maybe it's your subconscious. Maybe you read
Yeah,
about
yeah.
this and now you're acting this way because you think that's what you're supposed to be.
I
We're
could-
putting you in a
Or
box.
the third,
And that's the
which
thing.
is actually what I think I am, is that I knew about it, I lost track of it, I didn't give it any thought, and then it really did just happen. Like
Mm-hmm.
I really came into my own this past like year.
That's the
And
thing.
I'm 46.
Yo.
Like, like we're like
Spiritual awakening.
it took me a while. Like, but I got here. Like
Yeah.
I found myself
As
eventually.
long as you find yourself
Yeah.
eventually, that's what it's all about.
I know. I'm like, you got to get. That's I tell people. I'm like, I don't care when. You just better get there before the game's over.
Exactly.
You
Time
better
isn't even real.
I keep telling people that, and they don't understand. And I'm like, no. Half my memories and my dreams could be the same thing.
Exactly. You
My
don't know.
dreams are just as real. I astral travel. Like
Exactly.
so. And the past, I'm like, I see it, but in a way, like I see it like I'm watching a movie.
Exactly.
It
You're
could be
just
a movie.
Multiversing every time you go to sleep.
No, exactly. I was joking with my girlfriend. We were golfing yesterday, and I told her, I was like, I think, we were talking about like near-death experiences, and I was like, I think in other timelines I have died. I think I'm a walk-in on my own life. Like, I think I'm a walk-in on me.
And here's the thing. Anyone who thinks you're crazy, how do they know? No one knows.
No, I know.
That's the best part about life is no one knows. No one knows the answers. No one's gone and come back. No one knows. You're just as right as anyone else. In fact, it would be insane not to think this way.
Yeah. No, but it's like it took a while. Like now I kind of don't see everybody as individuals. I see like a hive mind, like I can see that, I can hear it, I can feel it. Like I am tapped into the collective consciousness.
That's what's
like,
up. This part might be insane. This part might have crossed over. We might have hit the insanity. But yeah, you don't know. Like that's the real thing. We just don't know.
I feel like my thoughts can set off shock waves. Like just something you say, and I think like really the actual like energetic power of the amplification of communication digitally, social media, in being, videos. Like I think we have not accounted for like the spiritual energy this is all created.
100%.
And how much the conversations are evolving so fast. Like look at what you see on like TikTok now and YouTube. Like you didn't see this 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Like look how fast. Like
the mind, it's noetic science of the collective mind. It's the idea.
like society has, we've never witnessed this. How old are you?
I am 38.
Okay. So you don't really remember the 80s. So like,
I
feel
remember
like,
enough of the 80s.
I feel like there was you can even hear it in music, like in hip hop. I feel like when the music industry changed, it was somewhere in the mid 90s.
We had Nick at Night. So with hip hop went through a transformation where there was this positive collective with hip hop where there were these groups, whether it was Tribe Called Quest or whoever, just making these positive songs or dance songs, and it was fun. And then there was a nitty-gritty transformation in hip hop, which some attribute to just general situational rap, where in New York in the 90s, crime was at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Crack use was at an all-time high. Were rappers creating the crime, or were they just rapping about the crime that they saw being created? There was that duality that existed, and people wonder. But then there was also an industry push, because that's what it was. Now, was the industry push because they wanted to, once again, create that self-fulfilling prophecy? Or was it because that's what sold? Is that what we bought? As a consumer, we vote every day. We don't have to wait until the November primaries to vote.
True.
We vote every time we use our dollars. So if we vote and we're buying the thing that's worse for us, they're going to keep selling us even more worse things to us.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, the thing about rap and hip hop as well is that like it did push the limits, like up until, say, you look at the music, like in the 60s and the 70s, I feel like that was when music started to make people think. Otherwise, before that, it was like either love songs or like broken heart songs, it was one or the other. But like music started to have like
tonky when you're on a donkey.
Like,
that was like a hit song.
It was like it wasn't
the
as
flapperjack music.
The industry was smaller, and they weren't like pushing the limits. And then you had very disruptive artists. Then like Bob Marley was a disruptive artist.
Exactly.
Like, Tupac was a disruptive artist, and you had people and
the
all
Jefferson
through the
Airplanes
70s.
and the Jimi Hendrixes and all these people who were just
and the
going
Doors
against
and Pink
the Led
Floyd
Zeppelins
and just like a lot of music. And then it was like, because like rap, hip hop, like was never just about like. Then it became this nonsense just about like in the club and popping bottles, and it was like so. It was so reductive.
Sure, but is that what we were buying? Because in the 90s, there was also an awakening if you listen to, for example, rock music at that time. If you listen to the rock, when you have Nirvana and you have Radiohead, and you have bands of that caliber creating music that was also Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
That's disruptive music.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
That was blurring the lines of hip hop and rock.
Yeah.
Before. It was way ahead of the trend on that. So I don't know. I really think that we are to be held accountable because we buy pop champagne music.
Yeah, I mean, it was also what was a selection. You don't really vote. Like, the industry predetermines who they're going to push out, and then we only shop from who they've already pushed out.
But not anymore. Right now, we can go on social media. Social media has,
and find
if anything,
new artists.
you know, all the bad things social media has done, but it's also democratized what we like. I can find someone that's so specific to me, something that I like. And there's always the Kendrick Lamars, and there's always these underground artists that we can find. And we just don't want to.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just want to be ratchet. Sometimes we want to act up. You know, sometimes we
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. See? You exactly. Show that side. Don't just show the spiritual side. Show the real side. Show the Miss Minnie. Show the Miss Minnie if you're nasty. Show that side. That's the side. See what I mean?
My friends get to see that side.
Exactly.
People who know me well get to see the, you know, even more unhinged.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so at some point, we are to be held accountable for the art that's presented to us because we quantify and qualify the art. We do so by giving it views, giving it likes, giving it comments, giving it attention.
Yeah.
If you don't like stupid people, don't make stupid people famous. So whenever people complain about the Kardashians, you do realize we can just not watch the Kardashians. So when we watch it, it's not their fault. It's our fault.
Yeah. And I think that actually is part of people waking up, though, that, like, you can tell, like, the balance is shifting. Like, depending on where people are, I feel like everything is a reflection. Say, like, I actually had questions. Like, I really, like, was going to ask you questions about your life.
Zen.
I really, actually, like, I printed stuff. I prepared.
It sounds like life right now, where you thought you were prepared, and yet it went on a tangent, and now you're here. Now we're here now.
This is the first time I printed.
This is now, we're here now.
I felt
You know,
so
started from the bottom,
today.
now we're here. That's how that works.
What were we talking about? Fuck, I'm the host.
Yeah. You were going to tell us how ratchet you get.
No.
Yes.
I
think Red wants to know. I think we all want to know. I feel like that's the thing. Like, we're all.
You're fine.
No, we want to see how this works. But there's an honesty to it. We don't always have to be in this perfect state of zen.
I'm never in a perfect state of zen.
To it, because balance is everything. There are times where we want to pop bottles. There's times where we want to pop the government in the face. Like, there's a dichotomy to it that we all have, a duality within all of us, and that's okay.
Yeah. All right, I'm actually going to go to shift gears just a little.
It's your show. It's not even.
It's
Welcome to the Tehran show. My name is Tehran. I'm your. I don't even think you've said my name. I don't even think you've said my name yet.
Well, you're wearing it three times.
I am wearing it 3 times. Well, you shouldn't have to. Here's the thing, because people always have a thing. They're like, "Why are you wearing your name so much? Why do you wear it?" Well, when people wear like Louis Vuitton, you do realize that's someone else's name. Like, Tommy Hilfiger is like his nickname. It's not even. It's Thomas Hilfiger, and he goes by Tommy. So I just wear my own name. I like my brand. I like my name.
Should I do the intro again?
Go for it. Let's start. Right. Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to Pieces of Miss Minnie. Today I am joined by a new friend of mine-ish, Instagram-y friend, Tehran. Or do you want your full name?
I'm a Tehran person.
You're just like...
You have to be a big deal. Madonna.
You want your whole surname?
Prince.
Von
Jesus.
Ghasri. It's
you know,
a dope
it's
surname.
Big if you have
it's
that
a good
first name.
surname.
That's
like your whole full name together.
I love Tehran Von Ghasri. I love my name, but Tehran is you know, because
the
it's
man
unique.
and the brand.
A lot of people don't know I'm half black, half Iranian, but I'm also the only Iranian person named Tehran in the world.
Are you sure
that
like,
is
in
a real
the world
thing.
is a really big
That is
statement?
a real place, and it's a true thing.
That
is a real thing.
In the
I'm
world?
the only Iranian person. If you
really
ask any Iranian person, you're like, do you know Tehran? Yes.
You don't want to
100%.
put money on that.
It could change in the future.
Lots
but
of
as
children
of now,
are named after cities.
And yet they're not named after Tehran. They are not. They are not. And it actually became a whole situation. It
It's a
became
cool
illegal
name.
in Iran to name your kid Tehran because of me. And so
No, it didn't.
yes, it did. Yes, it did. They said it was counter-revolutionary. Yes, they did. The
I
Islamic
Googled
Republic
you. How
banned it.
did I not catch
The
this?
Islamic Republic banned naming children Tehran, and they also said they have
Wait,
to have
when is
Muslim names
this?
and things. This is what I'm talking about. This is in 87, 88. This was a whole thing when my father went to Iran to get me a passport and get
Mhm.
all my documentation from Iran so I can have dual citizenship.
Yeah.
That's when it became an issue. That is a real thing. And no one had thought
Wow.
of it before. And then here I
So
am.
literally at your birth, you were causing trouble.
I was a disruptor
respect
from
that.
day one.
I respect
From
that.
day
I
one.
feel like I have grown into my menace to society phase. Like I'm definitely here to
Yeah.
stay, but like, oh,
No.
that's dope.
I won't do what you tell me since day one. As long as I'm alive, I'm going to live illegal.
I've always
Like,
been
I've
plotting
been that.
revolution
That's how it works.
secretly and
That's who I am.
quietly.
Exactly. So that's a real thing. That's actually a real thing.
Wow.
So it did.
That's
they
actually really
didn't
weird. I
renew
think
that.
it's so flattering to be named after, like flattering to the city.
But in the
fact.
future, there will be children named Tehran because they
Yeah.
didn't renew that law coming up in the last Majlis they had. So it just didn't get. They just didn't give it attention, and it's elapsed. But as of right now, that's the case. Like I am that
Wow.
documented case. Yeah.
Oh, I just thought you were saying that in a kind of hyperbolic
No,
way. Like you
no,
really
no.
meant that.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah.
All right, I'll take that back then.
See?
So the reason why, well, a number of reasons. I think our brains are actually kind of similar, but like, you are at the cross sections of so many different identities, and so am I. And it is actually so rare to meet another person. It's easy to meet somebody who kind of shares part of your story or experience or identity, and then you flex that part. Like when I'm with, and even like you are different. Like how I am with Indian friends is different than I am with like white friends, or there's this familiarity, but at the same time, I think there are just very few humans who are like you and me, and maybe they will be in the future, or maybe the world will be so small and connected, those like very distinct cultures won't be as distinct.
I mean, I think it's happening all the time. When I was a kid, there weren't mixed kids. There weren't a lot. Like
Yeah.
we're so used
Yeah,
to it
yeah.
now, but at
Yeah.
that time,
No, it's
it
true.
was, if you were mixed, in fact, you were famous. If you were mixed, you
Yeah.
all of a sudden became Denise on the Huxtables, and
Yep.
you were Lenny Kravitz
Yeah.
and all these people. Like you were a DeBarge. Every DeBarge is famous just because they were light skinned. Like
Yeah,
there's no
yeah,
other
yeah,
reason
yeah.
that family was so famous. So there was a time where being mixed was very new, but
Yeah.
now we see it. Now you see all the
Yeah.
Drakes. You see all of that. That happens on a very frequent basis, and it's becoming more frequent because it is a small world after all. The world is changing and it's shifting, and people are cross-collecting and they're moving, and the diasporas
Yeah.
of different nations and cultures and ethnicities are just shifting places, and you can't make society homogenous forever.
No.
And there might have been
It's
a
already
plan for
too
that.
late.
They wanted for that. That's what the basis of racism really is the homogenous nature, the tribal nature of humanity. And yet we're seeing that the divisions and lines and sand that we created, which we call countries and states and all these things, they're invisible. We made all
Yeah,
that
I
up.
know. No, the earth doesn't recognize them.
It doesn't recognize that
No,
at all.
like-
And Instagram has shifted that too, social
Yeah.
media, because I used to be able to meet a girl, she had to live within 5-block radius. And then the car got invaded and she could live in a 20-block radius,
Yeah.
And then so on and so forth. And now she can live anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
He or she can live anywhere in the
Yeah,
world,
yeah.
and you can meet someone and interact with them and feel connected to them and meet them and go and meet them in person and have interpersonal relationships with people who are hundreds and thousands of miles away.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's something that's very new in
Not, or in
an advent of the modern world.
like I've lived in 4 countries. Like I was in Asia for 9 years by myself, and I met people from around the world because I was in
Yeah,
Bangkok for 2
Geminis,
years.
Scorpios, and Australians. Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, and Leos.
And Leos.
Leo.
Yeah, a Leo Australian, actually, to be
Oh,
exact.
fuck no.
Yeah,
But now I have friends from around the world as well because, I was born in the UK, raised all over the States. We moved around a lot. So that was also a really weird thing. Like, while we're not mixed race, like we stuck out everywhere we went, it was like we went to different types of schools. It was a crazy process. And then, so now I'm like, I feel blessed that I have friends around the world, and
Sure.
that's dope. But at the same time, like, my concept of home is loose at best.
Mm.
Like, where do you feel, like, how would you think of as home? Is it really just like DC and your parents?
Sure, but to be honest, I feel at home everywhere I go. I've just always been a person who feels very comfortable.
Yeah.
So when you were discussing how you're acting different with your Indian friends than your white friends and all so forth,
I mean, like,
there's a code
acting,
switch
but,
that a
like,
lot of people do. I have early on just never code switched. I'm just me.
Yeah.
And I've presented it that way, as you can see. And it's a take it or leave it situation. But
Yeah.
I will always be comfortable because my peace of mind means more to me than everyone else's comfort.
I don't actually, code switch isn't it. It's a familiarity. And it's actually, like, even with Indians, it's been very difficult for me because, like, most Indians in America are second generation Indians.
Sure.
So, like, their parents have Indian accents. My parents, my grandparents, and my great grandparents were all born in East Africa. My dad is from Kenya. My mother's from Uganda. We go back 3 generations. Both sides of my family left India in the 1800s.
Interesting.
My parents met in London during university. I was born there. So it was like, we're already, you know, a very particular diaspora. My parents kind of ethnically aren't even the same type of Indian. And,
Yeah, they're
you know,
Indian.
Yeah,
several steps removed. They are.
Yeah.
But they're still Indian.
yeah.
But they're not. They are almost a clone of a clone of a clone, which has shifted
Or
the dynamic.
It's just like
You
it
see the same
keeps-
thing in
it keeps
Trinidad and
evolving.
other.
Yeah.
That's why we call them the West Indies.
Yeah.
Is because there's
No,
a lot
no.
of Indian transplants
Yeah.
to those countries, and they created their own culture and system. And there's an India that they are familiar with that,
Yeah.
to be honest, no longer
Like, they
exists.
lost, like East African Indians, I think, actually maintained it a lot stronger. Like, they maintained the language, you know, like, I still understand Gujarati 4 generations out. I don't speak it that well, but, like, for me, I've even had dreams in Gujarati, which is crazy. But it's like, yeah, like, my late ex-husband was Guyanese. And so I actually, during that time, got to know West Indians, you know, much better. And it's like, I could see the similarities and the differences. And they went through a much, 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 much harder experience. They were indentured laborers to a large degree, so they weren't treated much better than Black people in, you know, in the South and during slavery. So it was like a lot of that culture was like forcefully beaten out at
True.
times, where it's like, I think the East African Indians were there more optionally. And so it was, while they had to start from scratch, it wasn't like the system that owned them, which was a different experience. But no, it was hard because, like, my parents have British accents. You know, like, my family's actually very, like, Indian-ish, but, like, British and East African. And my parents, I would say, are still kind of pretty British in a lot of ways. And it's like, and all my extended family is British. So it's like, my brother and I are the only 2 in our family with American accents. You know, everybody else is, like, totally something different. And, you know, in having, like, moved and been around. But anyway, I wanted to actually so we talked about your parents. So your mother, I wanted to ask, like, how did your parents meet, and how did that, because you said there were not that many mixed race kids, which there weren't back then. So I was always
It was new. It
interested.
became new because even in the United States, it was illegal to be married until the loving 1969 Supreme Court decision was actually legal. And to be fair, it was actually technically illegal in several states until very recently. They had just never gone back and retroactively corrected those laws that were on their books.
Yeah.
However, and of course, you know, there is a judgment that's placed on it still to this day. We think it's, especially if you're in a major city, you're like, oh, no one would think that way. And it's like, go to Missouri.
Yeah.
Go to Alabama.
Yeah.
Go
No,
to
I
the
lived
Ozarks.
I
go
lived in
to
Kansas City
exactly.
for a few
Go to
years.
places
Like,
where it's
I
still a
lived all
conversation.
over.
If not, it could lead to violence. So the idea or the notion is, even the United States, which is one of the most diverse countries in the world, and to be fair, India is a very diverse country, but a lot of people are still culturally, there's a resonation of them because they are Indian. In the United States, it's people from all over the world coming to one place.
Yeah.
as opposed to just branches of
Yeah, but
branches.
some people are claiming to be the originals, and they're not. Like, I mean,
Unless
it's
your
like,
last name is Runs with Wolves, we shouldn't be having this I'm the original American conversation.
Yeah.
We're all immigrants. And German background, Irish background, Scottish background first. And then there's, of course, Black people who, because of slavery, may not know what segment of Africa they're from. However, there is that background. And then there are actual Africans here who are from Uganda and Kenya and Nigeria and so forth.
my dad speaks Swahili.
That's the thing. That's a real thing.
We're good
That's
at
how
Kenya.
diversity, and then there's Indians and then Iranians and whatever there
Yeah.
are in this country and people mixing. My parents met in college, just where most people meet their
Where
mates.
did they go?
They went to George Washington University.
And
so
you're a big George
they went
Mason,
there.
right?
I
You're
went to
three?
Mason and then I went to Georgetown and I had a lot of I did a lot of school, but we are DC
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. And so my parents met in school there and they fell in love, got married, had a kid, had more kids, and we're all here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
just how it worked.
How did both sides of the family react to
Well, that's
it?
the thing. Interestingly enough, it was so early, there wasn't racism attached to it yet. So the families didn't even know they were supposed to be against it. That came in later.
So was most of your father's family still in Iran?
A lot of them were still in Iran.
Who was here? When did he move to the States? So
My
was he
father
born
moved
here?
to America in 1979, right before the revolution.
Yeah.
He came to go to college, and my mother lived in D.C., and that's where they met. And as far as family here, I had uncles and cousins, but they were all in different places. They had all also come to the United States to attend college, and my father is the youngest of 10. And so he has nieces and nephews that are his age or older because of how age works out.
Yeah.
And so they had moved here. So he had family and extended family, but his main family were in Iran at the time still.
Right.
And then they were there, and most of them are still there actually to this day.
Oh, okay. Nice. No, because when my parents moved here, we were the first. And we were basically like the only ones here our whole lives. Like everyone was like either in London or somewhere in the Middle East. And but we were the only ones in America.
But for my father, it was just the same to say they weren't here because they lived in California or they lived in New York or they lived in Canada. So it was so impractical to travel.
It's almost
easily
just
then.
the peace of mind.
Exactly.
It's like
I
it
could
just
see that.
makes you feel like you have support. And in case of an emergency, you might
Break the glass in case of emergency.
Yeah,
you could.
exactly. But like that's about as much as you get. Yeah, it's not like you're living with them and then they set you up in a home.
Yeah,
like
they don't
that's
get
like
to
that's the way like a lot of the Indians do it. So you're
that's
not,
the goal. That's the goal where every
set everyone
community should
up.
be helping each other set up and do those things and establish themselves. That's how I feel every community should do, and we should be doing in general.
Yeah. No, I think not going back to like kind of being part of the Indian community, like that was, we didn't really know how to be Indian in that respect. We knew it from like our own particular diasporas and and I think like my family wasn't really Indian, it was Hindu. And that is a distinction.
There is a distinction.
There's a massive distinction there. And I realized I was convoluting being Hindu for being Indian. And actually, they cannot have anything to do with each other, even if you are born Hindu. Like, and it doesn't matter from what diaspora you're born into. Like,
it can be a thing.
That is, and it's like this is already its own. Even first and second generation, that's already its own diaspora unto itself. India's been moving without them, so that almost like became like you see a lot of immigrant communities, particularly like the first generation, really try to like second generation, they really, really hold on when like the motherland's been evolving. Like the motherland's not there anymore.
A lot of diasporas, you get stuck in time from when you came here. When you have left, that's what you remember that place being, and especially when there's a group collective for Iranians. It's pre-1979. There's a group, a large group who came here before the revolution, and that's the Iran they remember and hold on to so dear. Then there's some that came during the revolution, the Islamic Republic Revolution, and they fled Iran. And then that's the Iran
pain.
That they hold, and that's their pain. And then some came, and each generation later, they're very different. And everyone thinks they're the same, but I've seen that be a cause of conflict because they're not the same. They don't have the same experience or the same idea or notion of what that motherland is or supposed to be. And that causes a lot of conflict politically and culturally with Iran specifically. Yeah. It's a very specific and unique case of that. And you see that happen to diasporas all over the world.
Yeah. And even how you identify, like, even my Indian friends are Indian the way I'm Indian. You know, like my Indian friends are like South African, Singaporean, British. Or like,
you're not friends with the Indians. You're not a friend.
You
don't have
some,
one single.
But they were way more Indian than me.
You don't have one.
No,
Mumbai,
I do. No, I do. I have, but I've noticed
a Punjabi showed up.
I was not Indian enough for most Indians. I was definitely, and frankly, like I didn't like the first time I went to India. I was 25. I didn't grow up going to India. I grew up going back to London.
How did you like India?
Now I've been because I lived in Asia, so I was going for business too.
What was that first time? Culture shock, was it?
Yeah, it was definitely like we were obvious. So that was actually very interesting. So it was with the first time, right? It was with my late ex-husband, who's Guyanese Indian. So
whose family, because a lot of people don't know, like the slave trade took a lot of Indians to Guyana, Trinidad. You can go down the list. And then they were there, and I've been to Guyana, and I realized that the Indians must have been much lazier slaves because Blacks people really did well in the South. Like, if you go to the South, it's really built up. In those countries, there's still it's just a shared heritage that a lot of people don't realize that Black and Indian people have. And it actually was a source of conflict in places like South Africa, which does have a large Indian population. And then the Indian population was divided from the Black population.
Yeah, but that was a strategy of apartheid.
Exactly.
Like, I was actually just in South Africa, and so I went to Robben Island, and they went through it, and how specifically they had different clothing, different meals,
they
different beds.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, and that was exactly what they did. So they treated the Indians differently, and then the Muslims differently from the Hindus, and then the Black Africans were treated horrifically, as if it couldn't get worse. They were even given less clothing. They were colder.
And all of this is to cause conflict, to say, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, and not realize we should all be hating them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it was horrible. But they were all different.
And then, by the way, isn't just white people, it's the powers that be. Because a lot of white people don't realize that they are being subjugated to this exact same treatment. They just don't see it.
Well, they are and they aren't.
They are, and I'll tell you why. Because if you actually look, socioeconomic...
They're not really suffering.
They are. There are a lot of white people who suffer.
Oh, you're talking about here. Sorry, I was still thinking about like South Africa.
Or even in South Africa, wherever they are, there are people, and then those people are voting against their own self-interest because of racism. They're not voting based on their actual needs, which they don't realize coincides a lot with every group of people. They're voting against them and don't realize that they should also be against them. That happens often.
But I think like even just those like 4 sentences that you put together was, and obviously like that wasn't a big deal for you, but like that is more thought than a lot of these people give it. I think people don't understand, like, racism is, like, one of the lowest common denominators of, like, human intelligence and, like, the brain's capability. Like, this is some, like, low neuron firing, like, nonsense that, like, those people just don't, I feel like I think, and I found this emotionally and personally, and I found it just in talking to people, is that you assume people think the way you do or can think the way you do. You assume that like morally and ethically that people by and large play by the same rules. And I have really come to realize, like, heartbreakingly, that none of that
people
is
are dumb as shit. Like, people are idiots. Like, yo, people are just sheep.
But you know, the average human IQ is 100.
I actually thought it was like 95. So
it actually is probably lower. It probably is 95
I thought it was
I think
lower.
It was actually probably 100.
I think it's actually. I actually think it's gone up. It's actually gone up.
It was 90 at some point.
I think it's gone up because we are just in general more educated, the average person, more communication.
I think there's more spread, so the average looks like it's gone up. But I think, like, actually, there's a lot long tail in the front.
To be fair,
pulling
you
the
live
back.
in South Florida, so I don't know. But I'm just no
please,
offense.
Trust
I'm just
me
saying.
on this.
I don't know. I think that one thing is we always look at IQ when there's an EQ factor we should be paying attention to. And while everyone doesn't have the mindset to understand racism or placism or any of those things, we all have the heart to be able to know what's wrong is wrong, what's right is right. And we often are justified in our wrong behavior, even though deep down we know it's wrong. Because wrong is
you
wrong.
Think everybody knows that? Because I'm really thinking like there are some people who really just play for the other team.
But that could be on purpose. That's different. I'm saying wrong is wrong, even if everyone's doing it, and right is right, even if no one is. And deep down, we all know. We all do. Because on a level, even the most racist person, if you actually gave them a gun and put a black baby in front of them, we're like, hey, here, you're right, here. They would know that's wrong.
Yeah, but that goes on
they
all
would
the
know
time.
It's wrong.
That's going
because
on
it's,
right
because
now.
It's groups. When
Think
group
about
think,
how many babies have been
but
killed in the time of this
that's
podcast.
Groupthink. Whenever there's a group of people doing something, that is why I said wrong is wrong, even if no one's doing it, and right is right. Wrong is wrong, even if everyone's doing it, and right is right, even if no one is. Because when it comes to groupthink, that's the most dangerous thing. That's why mob mentality is so dangerous. When you see groups of people and you can other people, and you see it's someone else is doing it, or it's someone else's problem, or it's so far away you don't think about it. It's when it's in your face that now that questions who you are and your character. Do things alone, and then that's who you really are.
I think I forgot where I heard it or how it went exactly, but it was that like you want to behave as if everything that you do will be seen by anybody in the world, and that you're still proud of it, and everybody that you know, that like every decision, even if it's made in public or private, or even if you think you can get away with it, or even that, like, if you really behave the way, like, everything is on record, which
ironically,
which it is.
That's actually something that's written across religions.
Yeah,
so religions actually teach that at the end of the world, at the redemption factor, where it's you and the judgment day, that there's a screen of some type, and basically all of your deeds are put on display, and then that's it shows everyone, whether it's Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hindu religion, all these people, they all have a similar notion that this is going to be the factor. I have an idea that's basically, let's assume heaven and hell are 100% true. And if you do good things, you go to heaven, and you do bad things, you go to hell. Let's pretend that's a true thing. Then let's remove heaven. There is no heaven. Everyone goes to hell. Everyone, no matter what you do, good or bad, everyone goes to hell. In that world, people who still do good, knowing they will still go to hell because of it, those are the only people that actually deserve to go to heaven. Because they're doing it with no incentive. They're doing it with no intent.
Carrot.
There's no agenda.
Yeah.
They're doing it because it is their nature. And that, to me, are the people who actually deserve to go to a heaven.
I dig that. I really do. I don't know if I would say like summarily maybe like some of those people could go to purgatory. Maybe they just, if they had known the rules, they would have acted better. I totally understand.
But what I'm saying is if there are no rules and you still do good, that's when you actually are
really
deserving.
I just don't know if everyone deserves to go to hell.
When you say, oh, well, it's the people that do things, and you see this a lot. And once again, going back to social media, because social media is the best dissection of humanity we've ever had in history of man, is seeing everyone everywhere all the time, all at once, whatever that movie title is, right? So the idea is we can watch people and now see who they really are. All those troll comments, because it's anonymous, and when you write, oh, you're so ugly, why would you even write that? Why would you? That shows, it says a lot more about you than it says about the person.
It really baffles me. It's like, why would somebody put in that kind of effort to say, it takes so much more effort to be mean than it does
They're
to
projecting.
be nice
They are
or
hurting. They're whatever.
neutral.
Hurt people. All the things that you can think
But
of.
why would
We're
you hurt
seeing
a
it.
stranger who doesn't care?
We're seeing it right now. And the thing is, strangers do care. And you see people are more provocative. In fact, sometimes people will write, if you get 10 comments, you'll get 9 comments that'll say something like, oh my gosh, Minnie, I love you. And then you'll get one that's like, I hate your hair. And that's the one you respond to. So that's actually, you are actually teaching people, if I say I love you, you won't respond to me. But if I say I hate something about you, you'll show me attention. Now you're incentivizing negative attention.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's what most people do. And so what do you see? You see polarizing views, and you see a loud minority of people who spread as if hate is the majority of thought when it's not.
It always
really
sounds much louder than it really is.
Exactly.
It always sounds like it's a bigger group than it really is, but you don't take into account, that type of communication works very well. You can see it done politically. It's very hard to then basically answer that with positivity, or you just get drawn into their turf. There's no way to really answer that.
Saying.
But I think most people don't fundamentally realize, and I think, I feel like I have been misunderstood by the vast, vast majority of people my entire life, including people in my own family. But, I think how people feel about you, how people feel about anybody else is often a reflection of how they feel about themselves. And I think that is everything is a mirror. So it's like, if I am triggering somebody, even if they have this whole who does she think she is, how, she's not that good, or, I make more money, or blah, 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 whatever they want to say. It's like you trying to like justify and build yourself up to be like, I win, I'm like, that competition, it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with how you feel about yourself and what kind of lies you're telling yourself. And how you need to keep like playing this recording in your head to justify to yourself that you're happy with your life, that you probably aren't. Because if I'm triggering you and I have nothing to do with you, then really this is about you.
Maybe that's why I think you're so good looking, because I think I'm so good looking. I'm just reflecting. That makes a lot. That makes so sense. Oh my gosh. Oh, you're so smart. Oh, because I'm so smart. Oh, that makes so much sense. I'm just all about that. But I completely understand where your premise lies, and I appreciate that. That's actually a great point of view. It's a real perspective, because when you say something about me, it says way more about you.
Way more. We weren't even having a conversation.
I miss the times where people treated others as good as they are, not as bad as they are. Yeah. And those days are seemingly far and few.
I don't know. People are evolved. I think like whatever those days were are definitely gone. Whatever we're in right now is messy, but I'm actually I'm kind of looking forward to the future.
I don't know, because every movie we see, it's an apocalyptic future. Every single one is a dystopian future. There is no future. It's like, oh, the world is perfect, and then no, it's all like Terminator 5. Doomsday,
I think it's,
day after tomorrow, we're all gonna die.
I don't know.
End of the world.
Look, here's the thing, though. That's a timeline. That is
it's a lot of timelines. Zombies. There's a lot of
timeline.
At this point, I believe zombies are. They're like prepping us for zombies.
I think they're prepping us for aliens. I think that's
a real thing too.
Yeah,
they could be prepping us for aliens.
And I think that will basically cause a collective psychotic break.
Yes. And we can all be racist against them.
Ayahuasca
you
as
damn
a collective.
Greener, you purpler, you know
and it
RDR
will
on the purples.
Everybody face who they are, and just as what does human mean, and what
does humanity mean, and where do we fit into the meaning of the universe?
I don't think humans are like from Earth. Personally, I don't think so.
I
think we're engineered.
I agree with that. You can Anunnaki it up. You can say the whole nine. I also have always had a theory that I don't know if all humans aren't from Earth, but white people aren't from Earth, because here's the thing. No, there's
Is it because they don't hold up well over time?
It's because every other creature in nature has an adaptation to their environment. So fish breathe water, or whatever it is, and birds fly and they can climb, the whole nine. White people are allergic to the one most abundant
Oh my
source on this
God.
planet, the sun. Like
The
all we
sun.
have
We
is
have
the sun.
same brain.
They
I have
actually-
been saying this. How can you be
That's a real
allergic
thing
and repelled
to
by the sun?
But you know, they actually say that that's the argument for why humanity as a whole is possibly from a different planet, is because we are not built for this earth. Our bodies are weak
our
and
spines
feeble
aren't.
compared to our backs. That's why people have back problems.
We're built for
why babies don't, only human babies are so basically useless at birth.
Yeah,
Every
and
other
for
baby
so
is
long.
like for so long.
And the female body is not really built for childbirth of a child that big. Like
exactly. All the things that would lead up.
We're people say, scientists were like, we're descendants of like chimps and apes and whatever. But I'm like, okay, but then why didn't any other species evolve as fast as we did?
We evolved very quickly, and we evolved very quickly in a specific timeline. And
Too
also,
fast. Other species would have evolved much faster.
We all have skin diseases. If you're just in the sun for too long, no other animal has that problem.
Yeah.
There's not skin cancer on leopards.
Even our hair is weird. I'm like, why do we just have hair on our head?
Why would we lose hair? If it's actually about adapting to the environment, why would we lose hair over time instead of have more hair? So all the things.
And like very sensitive areas.
And don't get me started on the moon, by the way, and how the moon is probably not real.
I've been thinking this for a while, but tell me your thoughts.
Well, a lot of people, it's not just my thoughts, it's a scientific, there's a whole scientific basis of the idea that our moon is larger compared to our planet than almost any other moon, that we've never found a moon this large compared to its host planet. The perfect orbit, it is not an ellipse, it is a circle.
It's a circle,
while
which
every
isn't
other
natural.
orbit is an ellipse, wherever we've seen. And tilted access-wise, the fact that it's facing us always on the same, it's 400 times smaller than the sun, and that's like perfect. That's why we have eclipses, because our sun and moon are basically just geometrically proportional.
Night, the sun, it almost looked like an eclipse last
So
night.
all of these things that are just, and then of course the moon is, when they landed things on it and it made the noise, it was hollow, it felt like it was possibly hollow. All of these things.
No,
There's
and I'm
things
like,
for
why
a place that
haven't we
doesn't have
been
atmosphere
going
randomly has
back?
atmosphere.
Everyone's talking about Mars. I'm like, we should have had like a high functioning like base on the moon.
Something you would think.
I have had a dream of being on the moon before.
Well, then there you go.
Like, I'm like, wouldn't it make sense with all the technology that
Maybe,
we have
but
that
at
we
the
would
same
have like a
time-
bigger presence on the moon? Wouldn't that be like Earth 2
Would
or
we
like
want to spend $1 trillion to go to the moon? I mean, once again, the consumer, we vote. So sometimes we're the ones voting against these things without realizing it. The NASA's budget last year was what, $22 billion? The defense spending was $822 billion. That's a big difference. So if we had to choose between having a rocket that goes to space or a rocket that could blow up another country, we've time and time again chosen government administrations that choose to blow up other countries. Exactly. So
lines of chalk
there's
in the
a lot
sand.
of these kind of things that also where people create conspiracy when there aren't. And then people forget conspiracies that come to be true. Like the government has been coming out and been like, oh, there are aliens. And we're like, oh my God, what's Kylie Jenner wearing? We need to know why is she wearing that? Why is she wearing that? By the way, there are
You got to train your algorithm.
Exactly.
So you
there
gotta
are
train
aliens.
Your not
oh my
interested.
gosh. Yeah. Kanye dropped what? Oh no. Like we do that a lot.
But I don't know. But like you have to. I think you're making it too. We won't get into this topic. But I will say
all the topics.
But I think it's a lot has been forced down our throats. I think it's a false choice often. There are billions of dollars being pumped into keeping these people.
Sure,
in front
false flag
of us.
operations are real. A lot of these things are real. That is true. However, while we love to say we're forced to do this, we're told to do this, and all the things,
I just
we
don't
have
think
a choice,
it's binary.
and we can all decide collectively. Money, for example, we all have decided that money has value. We could all just decide it doesn't. And that happens in countries and their economies collapse overnight. We could all decide that about everything, anything. It's not like our president has superpowers, just another person. This isn't this.
No, I know.
Isn't
And everyone,
the boys.
I always, I try to explain to people about power. I'm like, power
it's not
actually,
Homelander.
Power only exists because people believe it exists.
We give it to others.
The person who has power basically has convinced you that they have
That's
power
it.
over you.
That is really
Collectively,
it.
you can actually decide, like, power is a figment of our imagination.
Most things are. In fact, most of the world's problems, the Earth's problems, are figments of our own imagination, whether it's nations that fight each other or races or ethnicities or we made all of these things up. Money and land and dividing borders. We could just decide they don't exist. We can do whatever we want within reason. There are real problems. Pollution. I don't know if everyone believes in the environment stuff, but the pollution we could be able to see.
It's a bit late for that. Like,
No,
look at the weather around the world.
But
like,
you know what? We say
late.
that, and yet we saw within just months of COVID how much the earth changed in just a month or 2 months of people not going outside, not driving. There were animals and plants, and the world came alive. There were dolphins spotted where dolphins hadn't been in a long time, and this and that. And that was only in months. I mean, we affect this earth. I think, in fact, that's actually the next thing we should be looking into is how to create with environmentally compatible, not just environmentally friendly, but environmentally compatible components, meaning that we create housing out of grass that we've grown or trees that we've naturally grown. These kind of things are going to be the future of sustainability, to sustain the planet, how we can all sustain, how we can have organic farms and natural habitats everywhere we go, and create this true compatibility with this earth. Because if not, if we keep going like this, no matter what we look at, all the racists, you're all going to be black because the sun's going to burn us all. Like, who are you going to be mad at that point?
We're going to run out of sunblock.
Exactly. So all the things, we're going to run out of clean water. We're going to run out of a lot of things that we are going to need in the future. Even now, our food contains way less minerals and vitamins because we've depleted the soil so much that there are no natural minerals and vitamins in the food we eat. That's why we're all somehow iron or zinc or whatever deficient.
Even you have to, like, but even the language you use, like, what does we really mean? Like, we as if...
I mean all of humanity except for billionaires. I mean that.
Yeah, but, like, then there is the question of control.
Yeah, billionaires are going to Mars. So, I mean, the rest of us.
I really hope so.
I mean, you say that, but that means that this place is so bad that they're willing to start over in the most uninhabitable planet to make it happen.
They control so many things that maybe, like, the world will get better without them. Yeah. I think maybe that might be the COVID re-2 we need.
I don't know. I read Lord of the Flies, and I don't know if humanity can be trusted on its own island by itself.
Really? You think they're doing us favors?
I think that there is no favors to be done. I think that we all have to come to a collective agreement of how to move forward. I think that once you hit $1 billion, you should just be like, I won capitalism, and that should be it. I think that a lot of these things, I think that innovation is more important than capitalization. I think that we should be thankful in some ways to the military because a lot of our technological advancements come out of our fear of one another. And so we have created things from the microwave to the internet because of it. But at the same time, we need to get over this fear at some point. We have more access to information and knowledge now than we ever had in the history of humanity, and yet we are more dumb now than we ever have been. Because it's one thing, there's a saying in Farsi, کسی که خواب هست میشه بیدار کرد و کسی که خودشو میزنه به خواب هیچ وقت بیدار نمیشه. Which means the next attack is October 15th. No, it means
stop it. This is my channel.
I understand.
Do that shit when you're on stage.
It means that someone who's asleep can be woken up, but someone who pretends to be asleep can never be awakened. And we are now, at this point, pretending to be asleep.
Yeah. No.
We all should be woken up.
We're in collective denial is what we are right now. This is collective denial.
Asleep.
It's like, come on. Like, everybody, like, catch up. Like, you already have. At some point, it's somewhere in there, deep down. And I'm like, this, like, pantomime that you're doing, this takes a lot of effort. You could just be honest about things. And I'm telling you, like, you'll feel a lot lighter. Things will be smoother in your life. Like, call a spade a spade. But, like, I think a lot of people's, like, own identities are so wrapped up in it that if they're like, "The system's bullshit," but there are a lot of people who benefit from it, we all do in some you know what I mean? Then you have to take a look
I don't know
and
if
be
there's
like,
a lot of people that
how
benefit
much of
from
your
it. I
life
feel
is
like there's a
bullshit?
small group of people that benefit from it, and the
Yeah.
rest of us have this hope or belief that we can benefit from it, when the truth is we won't. The truth is most of us won't ever own homes in our lifetimes because of everything that's happening. Most of us won't ever have autonomy over our own choices in our lives. We're looking at a world where right now, even it's the oligarchs versus big business. We are not in the equation for real.
No,
This is
we're collateral
we're gonna
damage.
look around and it's gonna be like, instead of Portland, it's going to be called Walmart land, and this is going to be Googleia, and this is going to
like
be
Idiocracy.
Exactly. All Idiocracy is more and more true.
Yeah, it is.
More
I
and
know.
more every
that
single day.
movie was ahead of its time. Watch
Way ahead of its time.
Idiocracy. If you haven't seen it, it's the movie of the present.
And that's the thing. We're at a world where we are at a definite crossroads, and whether we want to believe it or not, it doesn't matter. The thing about the truth is, it needs no belief.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Yeah, the truth doesn't
It's up
need you
to
to
us.
believe it to be true.
And the earth doesn't need us to go on. So when we
Yeah.
say, oh, the
Yeah,
world will end, no, we will end.
yeah.
The earth will keep going. It'll keep
Yeah.
spinning. Everything will be the same. And for the rest of the earth, it might even be better.
Yeah. No, I'm always like, the earth might be, animals would be better off without us. That's for damn sure.
Exactly.
Most environments would
They're
be
not
better off
destroying
without us.
We are constantly destroying
we've
them.
declared war on, that's why I say, like, why have we declared war on every species for no reason? Like, who?
Except mosquitoes. They deserve them. Listen, the mosquitoes in South Florida are no joke. I got
Yeah, that's
robbed
true.
by 2 mosquitoes on the way here.
But
They
you
were
know,
like, give me
we
your
also,
chain. I
but
was
you
like,
know,
here,
they've now
here.
released genetically modified mosquitoes to like kill the other mosquitoes. So now we have twice as many I never used to get bitten. This year I'm getting bitten.
They've done a lot of things where every time we try to affect, we turn into defect. And sometimes in the course, we just need to let things be, or just be organic the way we want organic food and organic healthcare and all these things. We just need the earth to be organic. And I'm not one of these hippy, dippy, foofy, shishi people, no offense. But I'm just saying.
I'm at a different cross section.
But I do believe that this is everyone's life we're playing with.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
I think like people, the concept that something will affect somebody else and not affect me, that I'm like.
For sure. For sure. When animals get out of control or overpopulated area, we actually go and we basically go, hunters get more licenses, things happen. We basically stop the overpopulation. We control that. We do that all the time. Well, what about human overpopulation? Thomas Malthus in the 1800s said that the earth could basically sustain 500 million people, and we're about 900 billion.
Yeah.
We're 9,999,000
But I mean,
over
maybe
that.
that was wrong.
95 million
and they had
over that.
different
I mean, whatever it is, but
obviously it's not right because we're at 8.5 right now.
but what I'm saying is we could sustain. If we were coming up with a compatibility with the earth, I would totally understand it. But it looks more and more like Thanos was right.
Yeah.
Like we are just destroying and depleting. There are islands of trash in the ocean, island-sized trash bins that we've just thrown things away.
Continent size,
Exactly.
like country size.
And we've been doing that, and it's not going to get better. We need to figure this out, and we're always waiting for someone else to do something. And the truth is, we are someone. Instead of going, I wish someone would do something about that. I can do something.
But you
about
have
that.
to pick your top. You know, that's why I said, I was like, if everyone even just picked one charity or like one cause that they really believe in, I'm like, you do not have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, but just pick one and throw your weight in. And it's like, if everyone did that collectively, we would actually solve a lot of things.
Unless everyone only did breast cancer, for example. If we all did one thing,
It's really random.
I'm just saying. I feel like breast cancer gets a lot of awareness.
It does.
And like,
They have good
no one
PR.
cares about testicles. You know
They
what I'm
have
saying?
good PR.
only erections. I don't understand humanity, Basically, just being an Aquarius. That's all I'm doing.
Well, you know what? That's where we started. So maybe
Mhm.
that is
So
that is the motto of this
it's a
episode,
bookend,
whatever it
you know?
was. I
It
had
is
all
the
these.
age of Aquarius. We are there. If you want to get some comedy questions, yeah, I do comedy. If you come to my comedy, it's a lot of this, but with punchlines. And the idea of why I do comedy is because with my background, I have a lot of religious different backgrounds and ethnic
I wanted
backgrounds,
to
and I
get
talk
into
about
it,
that.
actually.
I
It
mean,
was in all my
I mean,
questions.
it's
Okay, let me
interesting.
ask
It's
you.
interesting, but
Let
like,
me ask you. Okay, religious-wise, no, because I am, like, I was actually, because you speak Farsi, I had assumed your mother was Persian.
no, my father's
No, I
Iranian, my
know. And
mom
so what was
black.
that like with your extended family, like your
I mean, my
father?
father's very proud. I mean, he named his son Tehran. So
Yeah.
this is a person who actually is very proud of his culture and his nationality and ethnicity and should be. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with being
Yeah.
proud. There's only something wrong when you're prideful and think I'm better, you're bad.
Yeah.
You can always say I'm good and you're good. We're all different. So, salads are delicious because there's so many different vegetables in the same plate. That's what I
Yeah.
wouldn't eat just a bowl full of lettuce,
So does your mom understand? Does she speak Farsi? Did she learn it?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't.
Okay.
That's why they're still married. Because if she understood, they would have for sure gotten divorced. If she understood what he was saying at the time, wow, that would have been done. Dunzo. No.
And religion-wise.
So, religion wise, on my father's side, he's Iranian. His family was Muslim and Zoroastrian.
Mhm.
And for those who don't know, Zoroastrian is the first monotheistic religion. Still exists. Actually, there's a large group of Zoroastrians in India.
Yeah, they
They're
are.
called Parsis.
They're called Parsis.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's a religion where a lot of the other religions, they basically adapted a lot of their mythology into their own, where there's a
Mhm.
lot of overlap on that.
Commonality, yeah.
But Muslim and Zoroastrian. On my mom's side, she's black. My grandfather was Baptist. My grandmother, Jewish. And I grew up with all of these different influences and knowledges being passed on.
So
to
even
me.
with your parents, like say your father, he didn't gravitate more towards like Islam or
Thankfully,
Zoroastrian?
my parents weren't religious. It was cultural. So there's a
Yeah.
cultural identity to religions that
For sure.
to me is actually more important is because they aren't the ones that say destroy the other, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
when people like to become extreme,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
extremism in general is most of the problem. I mean, even if you drink water, if you drink too much water, you drown, right? So extremism's the problem. But the truth is, most of religion basically says love thy neighbor, understand people, be a good person. And then one page might be like, well, if someone's a different religion and they're wearing brown on Friday and you don't like their
Yeah,
shoes,
yeah,
punch them in
yeah.
the face. And everyone's like, we got to punch all of them in the face. See, it's right there. It's like, wait, what about all this other stuff I just told you? You're like, no, it says punch, 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 kill. So we don't have to always fixate ourselves on that. But the culture of religions have beautiful identities, whether it's Rosh Hashanah, Purim, whether it's Eid al-Fitr, whether it's Nowruz, all these different
Yeah, yeah.
celebrations of just life and humanity and goodness.
So you didn't personally grow up kind of feeling more of one or the other, because those are
I was never, I
those
was,
are quite distinct. To go
I
from,
grew
like,
up so other that I felt always, where I was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I always just fit in.
yeah.
Like it is what it is. I enjoy.
How do you feel when you're, I feel like your identity, my identity, we were always the same people, regardless of where we go. However, we are received and interpreted very differently, and we're both very well traveled as well. Like, that is an experience as well. So where do you feel like, because it's not like I go to India and everyone's like, welcome home. Like, they know I'm not Indian. They know I'm not from there. Like, I'm
Well-
a target. Like, I obviously didn't grow up there.
I never feel like I fit in anywhere.
Yeah, me neither.
But the place I feel the most comfortable in general is the Middle East.
Mhm.
But that's not because of the people always. I really
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
the culture and the nuances, but I also like the surroundings.
Yeah.
Jerusalem, for example, is one of my favorite cities. I just like it. There's a depth to it. It's where, quote unquote, God has walked.
Mhm.
I love it. I love being in Cairo on the outskirts. I love
Yeah.
I just enjoyed the Middle East
Yeah,
sensation.
me too.
But to be fair, I also haven't really gone to a lot of East Asian countries. So I
Yeah.
haven't spent so much time in Thailand or Singapore or
Yeah, yeah.
China or Japan.
I mean, that would be like a confronting experience.
Sure, and,
like
and
even
I've
me,
been there,
you know,
and I enjoy. I mean, it's enjoyable. They're enjoyable places. Except if I'm going to be between the futuristic and the altruistic, that past, I like that past feel.
I'm a
I
history
like being
nerd too.
in the place. It's like this is 5,000 years old. This is Petra. This is. I
Mm-hmm.
love those places. Like I feel like a sense of ease there, a true oneness.
Yeah. No,
with the habitat. So
I would always
it.
take history, and I lived in Singapore for, you know, and I asked because that was actually
the best passport in the world by the way, is Singapore.
I
Number
know,
one
I
passport.
don't have one, but you know, that was actually a crazy experience for me because I thought, you know, being so weird by American standards, and I wasn't even born here. I was born in the UK. Like, you know, I somehow, you know, naively thought when I went to Asia that I would blend in more, or I would be like better understood. And like it couldn't have been further from the truth. It was actually my most complicated years were in Asia. And particularly Bangkok, but you know, Singapore, I was there for 7. And it was like that was such a different society. It's like very stratified. So it's like 70% Chinese, and they own the majority of the power, 20% Malay, 10% Indian, and those are South Indian. And that's sort of generationally. And then you have about like 500,000 expats and 500,000 more like laborers. Obviously, like totally ends of the socioeconomic spectrum. But of those expats, if they're Western, they're always white. You know, they're Australian, they're German, they're French, they're American, they're British, whatever. And it was also, they were very married. And then it was like, say, if you had Indian or anywhere else, they were all from that country. And so like I came in at this intersection where it was like, I'm American. I have this strong American accent, but like I'm obviously not white. And that blew everyone's minds. I had just recently gotten divorced. I was single. So it was like to them, I was unchaperoned. That blew everyone's minds. It was like I had a education and a strong career, and it was like I was doing things, and it was
in the Venn diagram of it all. Yeah,
it was like, and
when
everybody.
did you meet the Australian? Yeah, let's discuss that. No, you don't.
No, that was early days. Yeah, those were early days, and then actually all these women later on. That's actually a known thing in Asia, that they're like, no, you never date Australians. Yeah, I know. I was like, all these women knew that, and no one told me.
Well, if you were one of them, they would have been able to melee your way away.
I passed it on, but yeah, it was a thing. But you know, that was
poor Australians. I've actually, because I personally enjoy Australia so much, Melbourne, Sydney,
I do like
I just
the country.
really Perth.
Yeah,
I just really like Australian people. I really like them.
Really?
Well, the people that I've met
Yeah.
that were...
What are some of your favorite people, like, around the world?
Okay, if I have to go around the world, I'll go based on audiences.
Yeah.
As far as comedy goes. Washington, D.C. is my favorite.
Okay.
And I love Washington, D.C. It's actually my favorite city in the United States. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased from there.
Dope.
When you
And
go to D.C., it has the most, it's the most international. It actually has the most educated, most cultural, geographically, meaning that it's actually tourist friendly.
Yeah.
So I really like Washington, D.C.
Yeah, me too.
So that's my number one audience if I had to be. I really like New York. I really like L.A. I like those audiences. If I go number 2, though, London. I love London as a city. I just love how naturally it's diverse. It's not specifically segregated when it comes to people in a lot of ways. There are elements of segregation that exist.
I mean, like London, like I remember London in the 80s.
I remember
London throughout the 90s. That's the actual weird part, is like, I don't know London now.
I love London.
And I was born there and grew up there, and I'm like, I don't know the city at all.
I enjoy it very much, and I think the audiences are very dope and they're very fun. If I have to go to number 3 cities that I enjoy personally, I would have to say Paris. While people dislike Paris, I love Paris. I love walking around Paris. I found the French people in Paris extremely friendly. I found them very hospitable. I've had a very good time. If I had to go to number 4, a place where I wish I spent even more time is Cape Town.
Yeah,
I really love Cape Town. I have a great time in Cape Town.
I would put
Cape
that.
Town,
but you really think, like, you'd pick these over like some other countries, not in terms of audience, but like cultural wise. Like I would say, like,
I'm saying audiences
Yeah.
and where I've had the best time.
yeah, okay, fair
And
enough.
then I would have to go to Dubai. I don't
Yeah.
really specifically.
yeah.
It's not like the affinity for this Emirati culture, but I really
Yeah.
like them. I really
And the
like
blending.
the places, and there's this group, and unfortunately because of what happened in the revolution, but there's a lot of people from Iran, and there's just a lot of people, and
Yeah.
I really like the Emirati city of Dubai. And then if I had to keep going, I mean, I could go on. I've been to so many different
One more.
places, but if I had to choose one last one, it might actually have to be a toss-up between Nairobi,
Okay, yeah.
Nairobi, and Ramallah.
I haven't been to
Ramallah in
yeah, that
the
must
Palestinian,
be it. Yeah, I haven't been.
in Palestine. I enjoyed Tel Aviv,
Oh.
but I really had fun in Ramallah with that crowd. They were so lively, and
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
so
yeah.
happy that we were there doing comedy
Yeah,
that I enjoyed that crowd very much.
yeah.
But Jerusalem is my favorite city to go to. Jerusalem, I just love
alright.
Jerusalem. I love the feel. You're walking on the wall. There's the Wailing Wall. There's the Dome of the Rock. There's
You like history.
Jesus. There's
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, like we both. I'm a big history nerd
I
too.
love
I
it a
think
lot.
that was. What do you think?
Oh,
people?
by the way, Canada's dope. Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal. I need to throw I just have a great time traveling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I
I
get
enjoy
that.
a lot of cities.
I, how would you say, like, when you're, how are you interpreted? Like, what do people, because I get this all the time because people aren't sure what race I am. So then that also throws them
You
off.
look Indian. I mean, like if I saw you,
No,
you're Indian.
right.
Like I wouldn't not think
But
you're
a
Indian.
lot of people, they don't think, also my hair is like,
I
a
mean,
lot
you
of
live in
different
South
things.
Florida, so maybe they think you're Cuban.
Yeah.
You know, it would depend on how you dress, I'm
But it's
assuming.
like, even when I'm traveling.
Wear a dashiki, they'll be like Indian. But if you wear like some red flower pattern, they'd be like, I get it. But you look very Indian to me in a great way. It's wonderful.
Some
Good
people
for
get
you.
it, and then some people like don't get it at all. And then depending on how long my hair has
Hairstyle,
been, or
hairstyle can change
hair
things.
is like, because I used to have
Makeup.
really long hair, but it's like, it's very interesting because I feel like I was always received differently in different places. Like that was always, like the way I was received in Singapore was so confusing to me. I was like, it was easier in America, which I never thought I would say.
Well, that's because they look at it differently. Like, I'm black in America, but I'm not black if I go to Africa.
Yeah.
If I go to the continent of Africa for most places.
And the funny thing
if I'm
is,
in Egypt, they think I'm Egyptian. If I'm in the Dominican Republic, they think I'm Dominican Republic. I mean,
Yeah.
I have that ethnically ambiguous look.
Yeah.
So you can go to a lot of places and be where they think you're one of them. In fact,
Yeah.
one time in Dominican Republic, actually in New York, I keep thinking that's because they're one and the same in a lot of ways. But in New York, this Dominican couple asked me a question in Spanish, and I was like, "Oh, lo siento, no habla español." They're like, "Your parents never taught you Spanish?"
yeah, well, I get
I'm
that
like,
a
"Well,
lot
technically,
too.
no, they didn't." But
I've
they're
been
like, "I
getting-
can't believe." Oh no, and they're like, well, I was like, "No, they're not Spanish. They can't. They would have loved to teach. They just can't." And it's too late. Like, so there's
Yeah.
a disappointed Dominican couple that are so upset that my parents were not proud enough of their Dominican heritage to teach me how to speak Spanish, but my parents aren't Spanish.
No, I get it.
they're
No,
not
I totally
Latino.
get it.
Yeah.
So what do you have coming up? What can we expect from you?
It's easy. Expect the unexpected. No, I'm always doing shows. I'm in a city near you, hopefully traveling the world, which I enjoy doing. My favorite thing is not specifically just to go to cities, but to people watch. So I love watching people in all the different cities. But I'll be traveling with comedy. I'm at the Laugh Factory every Thursday, right?
in LA. In LA.
West Hollywood in Los Angeles. That's my residency. Tehran Thursday. It's it's the funnest night of comedy in Los Angeles. It's a known night. But I'm also traveling. I'm currently in Fort Lauderdale at the Improv. I'll be in Miami. I'll be in Atlanta. Coming up, we have Sacramento, San Jose, Philadelphia, New York, shows all around, and then European tour coming into the fall and winter. And Qatar, Abu Dhabi,
Oh,
these
nice.
things all
Oh,
coming
good.
up. So I'm looking forward. If you want to keep track of me, just find me on social media, because that is the way we can keep track of one another.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to be for bad things. It can be for good things as well. It's up to us. So choose to keep track of me at social media at I am Tehran all across the board. That's I am Tehran, just like the capital of Iran. So if you don't know how to spell it, just watch Fox News. They literally talk about me every day. Every day I'm on the news. And it's never a good thing. It's never like, Tehran had a great day today. It's always like, we bombed Tehran. Tehran's the reason. Tehran's the problem.
You never know on any given day.
That's how it works.
You know, I have to check in to see where we are half the time.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
We've been at war and we've won this war 29 times. Hopefully, you know, it's over.
One day
but
it's going to be true.
We'll see what happens.
And it's done.
In general, And you can catch me in a bunch of protests, protesting the Islamic Republic regime. You can catch me. I'm out and about.
What do you like to do? What do you do? What are your hobbies?
What do I do for
or
fun?
Is it just so much work that
I read. I'm a reader. I'm a big
cool.
reader. I watch a lot of things. I would love to say I watch Netflix, but I'm a YouTube fanatic because I have commitment issues. So I can just watch something and it's a short form. In fact, I've been getting into watching movies by watching their recaps. And it's just like the 10-minute recap of the movie. And I feel like I've watched the whole thing, but I watch a lot of things. And I play basketball. That's my sport of choice. Let's going into cliches, even though I usually don't try to fit in a box because boxes are meant for things and not people. And you can catch me everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Number one, my bedroom. Any chance I get, I am at home. That is my favorite place to be.
Yeah. I'm a homebody. I'm like, people don't understand. I'm like, I'm a hermit. I'm like, people who get to see me in person, I'm like, do you understand how privileged you are?
This is a privilege,
That you are not even a cat. Like, how dare you take up my time?
I'm doing you a favor. You should say thank you when you see me, okay?
Well, I think my good friends do. Everyone else just, you know, you cannot catch me in these streets. No. You will never catch me in these streets.
I get it. Except that time with the Australian. I'm just saying that Leo Australian, we all know.
All right, well, whatever. Times were different back then. We have matured.
Yeah.
You know,
learn from our mistakes.
I am 46. Like, I have lived. So.
Fine wine.
Thank you. So with that, thank you so much. And it's been a privilege, an honor. I am so flattered you agreed to do this.
I'm always down for the vibes. Thank you for having me on.
No, it was really my pleasure. So with that, thank you so much for joining us on Pieces of Miss Minnie, and I will see you later. Take care. Bye.